Beautiful, divine masculine, and feminine darlings. This is the Seraphim Gypsy, SeraFae Indigo Empress, and Shiloh Horizon. I don't plan to be here for too long, but cheers. I do have some things to share. Okay. Okay. So, a couple things I picked up just off the cuff before I dive into any reading. I have been picking up a couple of channels over the last couple of days. One today, a similar one yesterday, and I think I called the other one out, and this would be karmics stalking lightworkers' social medias to try to message their clients or followers or what have you, and they're gossiping about people and slandering people, but it's the same thing back and forth, and I'll get into that in a minute, and it's all fabrication. So hold on just a second. So the other day I picked up specifically inboxing followers or clients, hoping to turn clients or followers or supporters away from lightworkers. And they're doing this by saying, oh, you don't know about the lightworker. You don't know this about them. I know this about them. Oh, they didn't tell you this about them, did they? But you see, they're making things up, or they're taking things out of context to try to smear campaign people because they're trying to isolate whoever they're gossiping about by falsely turning people against them based on the fallacies. So today I picked up a similar energy, and I picked this one up in regards to someone that I helped out yesterday, and something about a karmic trying to go towards this person and say, oh, I know that light worker helped you, but you don't know this about them, and they're slandering the light worker, or maybe taking an upset of a light worker out of context to try to smear campaign the light worker as crazy or abusive or mean or like something that they're not. But what the karmic, even if a light worker was upset and that's what they're trying to point fingers at, what the karmic is failing to mention in this story is what they're upset about, which is whatever the karmic did first, like steal from them or hurt children or lie to them or try to set them up and put them in a bad situation. So they want to judge people for their reaction to abuse, but they don't want to be judged for abusing people, so they leave that part of the story out first. Okay. Now, two things. If you think you can try to turn followers or fans or friends or family or whatever it is away from people, then go for it, karmic, so be it. Take out the trash with you. Obviously, those aren't our people. Our people can't be turned against us, and if they could, they were the weak links, and we don't want them anyway. They're no good. They're just as good as you are, which is not good at all. Okay? So there's that. Secondarily, as far as the manipulation tactics go in regards to trying to go towards people that are being helped by a light worker, to get those people to be confused about the light worker based on lies so that they turn against that light worker, what they're trying to do while isolating that light worker is trying to, or more specifically, what they're doing through the process of isolating the light worker from people that the light worker is helping is trying to come between the people that they're gossiping to from getting help from the light worker that would otherwise be helping them. So you've got a light worker, you've got somebody that's getting help from a light worker, and you've got a karmic. Karmic is telling the person seeking to get help from the light worker, don't trust the light worker, meaning they're trying to, just like the devil, lying to people, trying to manipulate people and scare people into being stuck or being trapped, trying to manipulate somebody who could be getting help from a light worker into not reaching out to getting help, meaning they're just because this karmic is jealous of the light worker, they're willing to put this person in the middle who could get help from the light worker in a bad spot by convincing them not to. So any damage that's done to this person in the middle because they don't finish reaching out for help from the light worker because the karmic told them not to, that karmic's going to get karma for also the damage that's done to this person in the middle that the light worker could have helped lift off of their shoulders. Okay? So you don't have to take my word for it. We'll read on it, but that's the raw channel I picked up. I picked up a second channel, and I've been picking this up over the course of a week or the last couple of weeks as well. And this is of seemingly dirty cops, okay? And they do not like, I'll just use myself as an example. They do not like, let's say it's me, the truth that I as a whistleblower speak. Okay, so they think I'm attacking them because I'm calling them out for their dirty cop behavior and their negligence and what have you, but it's not my fault that based on my observation of their negligence and their criminal cruelty or their choice to ally with criminals, meaning aiding and abetting crimes and being an accessory to crimes, it is not my fault that after observing these people be horrendous, my opinion of them changed. I used to wave to the police and smile to the police. I used to trust the police. My mother's ex-husband was on the Bar Harbor Police Department. He was in the Desert Storm War. He was a soldier in Desert Storm. He went through the jungle and had monkeys crap in their hands and hurl it down at his group of soldiers in the in the jungle, territorial howler monkeys. And then he got out and eventually joined the police force. My half-sister's father was on the BHPD. So I used to trust the police, and I know that there are good police officers, but it is not my fault that I had to call them out for their poor choices, their failure to do their duty to serve and protect citizens, their choice to become criminal with criminals. It is not my fault that those choices that they made changed my opinion on them based on observation. I used to see them as good people because that's what cops are supposed to be until I watched them be the opposite. Thank you. Welcome to my TED Talk. Congratulations. I'd say for making it almost to the end, but I'm pretty sure I might just be getting started, so we'll see where this goes. It's a little bit low hanging for me for that. And that. I should have known that this would come out or something like this would come out, because my kitty cat, I found this on the floor this morning, one of these decks, and I don't use this deck very often, but when I do, shit hits the fan. Or it outlines these karmics who've been doing things that they shouldn't be, usually on a pretty extreme level, including governmentally. A couple of cards just fell, wow, out of the, that's funny. A couple of cards just fell out of the deck onto the floor, so they hit the deck, or hit the floor, but they hit the deck. Coffee shops. Now, liberal here. When I helped somebody yesterday and I gave them a ride from point A to point B, the place that they needed to go was on the same street as the coffee shop, And so they wanted to go to the coffee shop first to check in with a friend of theirs who was working there before they went down to the other side of the street to where they needed to go. So I actually dropped that person off at a coffee shop. And the thing about the message of the karmics going to people and saying, oh, you don't know this about the light worker. You don't know them like I do. They're a bad person. You don't know this or you don't know that. Or maybe they're framing how they tried to get a light worker in trouble for being upset, right, about a situation, but they don't want people to know that they're the reason that the light worker was upset. Like they'll try to claim that the light worker is over emotional or unstable or irrational for being upset about being lied to, stolen from, abused, have seen child abuse or dealing with hostage situations or whatever the case is. But they want people to look at the light worker funny for reacting. They don't want people to know that they're liars and cheaters and thieves and abusers and kidnappers, for starters, rapists even in some cases. But they want people to look at the light workers funny for being upset that they've been abused or hurt or stolen from or mistreated or taken advantage of in some way. Okay? Now, the reason that this is an issue is because I picked up the exact same message that I just told you is being sent out at a light worker. I'll use myself as an example. Let's say that that's a karmic speaking that about me, trying to go towards, just using myself as an example. Let's say it's a karmic going towards somebody that I help or that I seek to try to ally with for their support so that I can help them. And they go to that light worker and say, oh, or they go to that person I'm seeking to help and say, oh, don't trust M-Gem. She's a terrible person. Oh, look, she got upset because she's so unstable and this and that. Either they try to, again, blame the light worker for being upset about the crimes that the karmics are committing towards the light worker while covering up the fact that they're committing crimes towards that light worker, meaning it's justifiable upset. Or the other thing I noticed them do is they falsely accuse the light worker of doing everything that they've actually been doing to the light worker. So they project. Thank you. Okay. But unfortunately, I've also been picking up that the groups of people that they're trying to speak badly about and the groups of people that they're trying to speak badly to are also versed in this. And while they might be sensitive, they're also intelligent and intuitive. And so let's say that today the karmic is trying to say those things about me towards somebody. Yesterday, I didn't even say this part out loud, but I picked up that the karmics were trying to say those things about that other person to me. So while I was mentioning that yesterday I was able to help somebody, I heard a karmic female say, oh, I know that person. I know who that is. That's not as good of a person as you think it is. Like trying to down me for helping somebody when absolutely God called me to help them. Except for and I dismissed this. The reason I didn't even speak on this yesterday was because I knew they were full of crap. I knew very well that it was the right call to help this person and that this was not a person who was undeserving of the help. But what this karmic wanted me to do was feel bad for my choice to help people. They wanted me to doubt my movements and my choices or my intuition, but really they're just jealous because they're a miserable wench and they're not a nice person and help people see they're going around lying and manipulating because they think it'll make them feel better. Trying to smear people's good deeds as something bad, and paint their bad behaviors as something good. They're delusional, or they're trying to gaslight others, or both. Okay? So, and a special persecutor, not prosecutor, persecutor. Okay, so they're persecuting people. And Mayday, Mayday, it's a red flag. Okay, so the same energy that they were trying to talk badly about to me yesterday is the same energy that they're trying to talk badly about me to today. So yesterday they were trying to say that I was wrong for helping somebody, and today they're wanting to try to go to that person and say, you were wrong for accepting her help. I picked it up, 1555, because they're trying to gaslight and isolate two light workers. Why? Because they know that person who was received some kindness and support was deserving of it, and frankly so am I. And they don't want light workers to have mutual companions or friendships or people who understand them or support them, right? Because if I don't help that person, it makes it easier for people to bully them, and if people don't support me, they think it makes it easier for the same karmics think it's easier for them to bully me. So they're trying to do to me what they're doing to other light workers, and they're trying to do to other light workers what they're trying to do to me, except for I see them, I see their potential, I see their light, I see them for who they are, and guess what? They also recognized me. Sit down and stay seated, karmics. Let's pull some cards now, shall we? That raw channel's been broken down. Cheers. Also, let me pack a bowl. I feel that energy shifting out again. See, it gets very tense sometimes when that karmic stuff comes up. Why did we do that to her? So you thought you'd get away with it. And you thought you wouldn't get caught. She really is so psychic. How did she pick that up? There's no way she could have. No. Other than the fact that I am highly psychic and you're just not very smart. Next. Karmics. There's also divine masculine energy behind this. I'm going to do a love reading. Feel it, but I do need to clear this out first because they're trying to create disturbances. And if it was just the karmic stuff, I may dismiss it, but because they're trying to use this to target light workers or make light workers vulnerable or trying to take advantage of their vulnerabilities, I don't like that very much, and I'm not going to tolerate it either. Yeah. Look, they have no family values. These are evil people trying to tear apart light workers, and this is El Nino. It's in reverse. So Lady Liberty, thinking they wanted to just be corrupt communists. They wanted to... Lady Liberty is about freedom and justice and truth and independence, and so they wanted to hurt and harm and isolate light workers. I also mentioned that Atlantean energy, the drowning of the independent free speaker, free thinker. Yeah, that's a no for me. No. She's beauty and she's grace. She'll punch you in the face. You're gonna learn your place. Warehouse. What about the warehouse? They've just been waiting. Warehouses are usually for storing product. They've just been waiting for oh, okay. They've been waiting for an attack. Got it. We're waiting for the right time to attack. In some cases, I'm picking up that they're trying to hide out. Credit card companies, because something about they're in debt or credit card fraud, soft drinks, hidden connections. Yeah, see, they were trying to destroy lightworker connections, and also they thought that their secret manipulation tactics were hidden. They're not. What about the soft drinks? Oh, okay. So at first I was picking up karmics who don't take care of themselves, lots of drugs and things that are bad for them. They don't take care of their health, their teeth, whatever. But I'm also soft drinks. I'm also picking up the reference of the big pharmaceutical company analogy, and more specifically how I know exactly how they work. Big pharmaceuticals, meaning the different pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, reorganization. Okay. So these karmics were playing checkers with an empress who plays chess, and it was a terrible fatal error for them, because in the game of chess, the queen protects the king, and the queen makes moves the king cannot. And I know these karmic females tried to compete with divine feminines, but they're not queens. If they were in the decks, they were queens in reverse, and baby, that's not a queen, that's a karmic. It's a bad knockoff trying to snatch somebody's crown and wear it, but just because you're playing dress up doesn't make you make you a queen. Too big for your britches, heavy as the head that carries the crown, and you're not strong enough. Yeah, because you lied. I lied. Yeah, we know. We know what you did. Shush. So, I hear immorals, demoralizing values. Yep. They got exposed. Big pharmaceuticals works the same way that soft drink companies work. And I know this because Pepsi and Coke have been fighting for my family's business at the family restaurant for decades. And we've gone with Coke for, I think, from the beginning. But a number of years ago, Pepsi came and asked if we would switch. And they said, look, we see that you need new awnings, or basically window coverings. Those things that you see on the outside of restaurants or buildings that come down over the, they're like a rain visor or a sun visor. They come down over the sidewalk, over the front of the building, kind of like a tent cover, but just on the top, and they hang off the side of the building so that if it's raining and you're waiting in a line to get into the business, then you don't have to stand in the rain. If it's really hot and sunny, you don't have to stand in the sun. Sometimes, like at my family's restaurant, we will put out in the summertime benches and chairs there so people can sit in the shade out of the sun. If not just to sit, then certainly so that they can wait if we're really busy and there's a line out the door, because a lot of times there is, especially in the summer. So I heard that. Well, it's a really big restaurant considering you even have a back. You have a line out the door? Yes. They're very popular. My grandfather started this business, this restaurant. He went to business school, did financial school. Actually, he was in the Hall of Fame at his college for basketball too. And then he opened a restaurant. Went to business, and I think, did he do like a cooking class or something? I forget. Actually, I have it right here. I can show you. Here he is, with me on his chest when I was a baby. I was premature. And here he is when he first opened the restaurant. King of the Grill, they call him. Let's see. Does it say? I don't think they put that in here. No, I don't think they did. But he went to college, business school. I think he did some cooking stuff too, but I know he definitely went to business school. He was in the Hall of Fame for basketball, and then he opened the restaurant. Over 40 years ago. Or about 40, yeah, it was over 40 now. So longer than I've been alive. Look, savings and loans, as I said, business school, exactly. Soft drinks is behind that, so. 23, 22. For years, we've had Coke products being sold there. Not just soda, like juice and water products, but through the Coke company. And Pepsi has continued to come back, I think pretty much every year, and ask them to switch. And one year, actually, let's see if I can find one. One year they came and they asked my mom, will you switch to Pepsi? We notice you need new awnings. We notice you need new window coverings for the sidewalks outside, because yours, they were just old. Eventually they're fabric, and eventually, even though it's weatherproof fabric, even weatherproof fabric eventually gets old, sun damaged, weather worn, and it starts to tear. It's from the snow and everything. It's just old. So it needs to be replaced, and it's not the biggest deal in the world, but awnings can be pretty expensive depending on what they are, how many you need, etc. And they are usually at least a few $1,000s. And so Pepsi said, if you switch from Coke to Pepsi, we will buy you new awnings. And my mom said, well, I have to go bring this to the other partners and talk to Coke about it. And my mom, when Coke came back, my mom said, Pepsi came and made an offer. This is what they offered. And they said that they would buy new awnings for the restaurant if we switched. And Coke said, don't worry about that. If you stay with us like you have been, we will pay for the awnings. I know Pepsi offered to pay thousands of dollars for brand new awnings for the outside of your restaurant for you to switch to their company and buy from them. But if you stay with Coke, we'll pay for the awnings that they offered as a bribe to get you to switch. And guess which company my family still buys from at the restaurant? Not Pepsi. But that's also how big pharmaceuticals works. There are different pharmaceutical companies, and they send pharmaceutical sales representatives into different hospitals to try to get them to buy their particular brand of drug. And if that hospital sells enough of those drugs for that company and they meet a certain quota, then they get often bonuses or benefits or discounts on the prescriptions, which means that that's extra money in their pockets that they can use for whatever it is that they want, vacations or extra bonuses on their paychecks or whatever. So it's dangerous because they're putting financial gain over the highest concern, or the thing that should be the highest concern, which is people's well-being and health. That's the whole purpose of having an industry like that. It should not be about money, not at the core. Okay. Also, cap. I'm getting something about a cap. This is why in some places there are caps on how much someone can charge. Like in some countries, there is a limit on how much a drug company can charge for a drug, because I think they did this with diabetes medication, didn't they? They started making it so expensive because they had the only one available that people who needed it couldn't even afford it anymore. So they thought, well, look, we're the only one who has what people need. We can jack up the price and people won't have an option but to pay for it because they need it. But they were so greedy that then their customers couldn't pay for it and were dying. And it shouldn't be about that. And that's why those legal caps are financially put on things like that, to keep people from being greedy to the point of the self-destruction, not self-destruction, to the point of the destruction of others. Because those people, let's say it's diabetes medication, they're not self-destructing. They're not wanting not to take their diabetes medication. They're not trying not to take it. But if somebody's leveraging it over their head and making it impossible for them to access, that's somebody else seeking to destroy them. And that's not okay. That's why there's a cap in some places and why there really should be in others. Exactly, nationalization, because in some places that's a law. It's a problem. Oh, what did I just say? I can't make it up. In America, it's a problem. Chain letters. Now, I think Canada has a free healthcare program, right? But I also heard, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody from Canada knows about this, please tell me. But many years ago, I heard, wow, see, they're taking people out, attempting to neutralize another group. It's not like somebody doesn't want to take their diabetes medication if they can't afford it because the one company who has it is jacking up the prices. If they can't access it, they can't access it. They're not wanting that. Someone else destroying them. That's not self-destruction. Chain letters. Okay. So from what I remember hearing a number of years ago, I heard that in places that have free healthcare like Canada, you have free healthcare, so you access what you need, but because it's free healthcare, sometimes the waiting lists are so long that it's really hard to get in to see a doctor, and they get backed up for many months. Please correct me if I'm wrong and if this has changed. But that's what I heard about Canada, 2922, and other places like that. I've heard that that's when people will, even people in Canada, if they get cancer or something and they can afford it, they'll come to the United States or somewhere else for treatments because they can get in very quickly with a doctor and more efficiently that way. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what I've heard. So if that's true, there are definitely double-edged swords to both sides. Absolutely. But yeah, that's a problem. So what about the chain letters? Okay, criminal, conservative. So these are people trying to keep this in their small circle. And as I'm looking down, shock jocks, you have these karmic bullies over here. What is that? Looks like a singer, somebody with music. They're trying to keep people from speaking, or they're trying to speak up and use their voices to, on air, to trash people, or yeah, Lexi. 3022. Okay, one of the things is I do peaceful. It says peaceful. I do love a lot of love, work with love and helping people with love readings and what have you. It's one of my favorites to do. Now, really, I had to break down a lot of the spiritual warfare. That's what it became, because I was minding my business doing love readings, and then jealous, nasty karmics who don't know love wouldn't know it if it ran over them with a truck. Decided to cause such attacks that it became relevant to focus on that for survival first. But this is very likely what they're saying about people. Oh, they're just fake. Oh, they're a fake psychic. Oh, I know all about MGem. You don't know this and that. Oh, look at how she reacted to all the terrible things that we did to her. But I'm not going to tell you about all the terrible things we did to her, just how she reacted to them. Projection. Narcissistic Darvo tactic. D-A-R-V-O. Deny, attack, reverse the victim and offender roles. It's classic gaslighting. So there's smear campaigns, see it for what it is. But the gag is, that's actually what these people have been doing. I'll use myself as an example. The same locals here who try to call me a fake psychic come on here and they plagiarize my content and steal. And not even just that. It's not even just the stuff online. They commit government fraud. They evade taxes. I mean, these are career criminals. This is just another arena for them. Everywhere we go, people want to know. Heard. Weird. Charlie Cini has a weenie that he loves to show. Ew. Get a grip. Oh, yeah. See, I told you, look, music industry. So they're targeting musicians and artists, trying to separate them, possibly because they know that these people, these artistic, creative people, have a passion or a purpose or could create things together, and they want to isolate them and break them down instead. Told you. They don't want people to know the truth, and that's why I'm here, to speak it out. Yeah. Because they don't want people. They don't want people. I told you I emptied what was left in my wallet to help this person. They don't want the light workers to help each other. These are people either in a cult or they're attacking people, conservative weirdo, who are very gifted in high priestess or high priest energy. And then the spammer energy. See, they try to bombard people with false allegations or slander about others, but this is backfiring. I don't believe you. The people that they're trying to gossip about the light workers to say, I don't believe you. Ah, okay. So let me explain this. I'll just say that there are two light workers, right? So I'll use myself as an example, and I'll use the situation yesterday as an example. So let's break it down this way. You've got the light worker, one. Let's just say, just to keep it simple, I'll use yesterday's example as an analogy. Let's say this is me. This is me. This is the person that I helped yesterday. Stop rolling. Okay. This is me. That's a good idea, thanks. I like that better. Okay, much better. So let's say this is me. This is the person I helped yesterday, and these are the karmics over here, okay? So, I helped this person yesterday, and then a karmic says to this person, oh, don't trust MGem. This person says, oh, don't like MGem, and they're saying it, this person is saying it to this person about this person. This karmic is speaking to the light worker I helped, or let's just say in this analogy that they are, about me. This person is trash talking me to this person. And this karmic says all kinds of gossip about me to the person that I helped. But yesterday, the same karmic energy talked all kind of trash, the identical kind of trash actually, about this person to me. So they say bad things to this person about this person, and then they say bad things about this person to this person. And they're just trying to separate these two from being allies because they know they're the odd one out. Okay? This person says, you don't know the divine feminine like I do. I know all kinds of stuff about them that you don't. And they're saying it to this person, hoping this person will shun this one with them. But this person either feels enough about this person or has experienced enough about this person or knows enough about this person to know that they're legit. They're a good person. Or this person I helped yesterday, they know, just based on the care and the concern and the kindness that was given, that it was genuine. And that this person's full of shit. But you know what I also just picked up, and that's why I paused and when I heard, I don't believe you. Now this person is saying to this person about this person, I don't believe you. This person is saying, I don't believe you to this person. This person is saying, I don't believe that this person is a bad person. This person is saying, because this person helped me. And what this person doesn't know is that this person also knows a few things about them. And this person also seems to understand and know, or at least have an inkling, that this person seems to be projecting and jealous, and also based on what they do know, based on what this person does know about this person, they know that this person's actually pretty shitty of a person, which I find pretty funny because that's exactly what this person tried to say about this person yesterday to this person, and now today, this person's trying to say the same thing about this person, trying to say that this person's a bad person to this one. So yesterday the karmic told one light worker that the other light worker was trash, and today the same karmic is trying to tell this light worker that the other light worker is trash, but both light workers over here know that the karmic is trash, so checkmate. And if they don't, they're about to. So there's that backfired. Holy goodness gracious. That was a lot. Seemed like a very complex ordeal. I just wanted to make sure it was outlined clearly enough, visually enough, so that no matter how people learn, no matter what kind of learners they are, you can hopefully understand. Oh, goodness gracious. So I want to see about that dirty cop energy also. really quickly. Clemency, knowledge of good and evil. So it's not working. The light workers are getting peace, reprieve. If any false accusations or attacks were sent on them, they're getting clemency in a court of law is whether you committed a crime or you were falsely accused. It's being cleared, either because you're proven to have not done it or you're being given grace, knowledge of good and evil. But in this case, it's not somebody who did anything wrong, or if people were trying to shun a light worker for being upset about being abused, they were upset about the wrong thing. They should have been upset about the abuse, not the light worker's reaction to it. Yeah, see, they were doing this luxury. They were doing this for material. Oh, are you saying these? I hear yes, they did. These dirty cops got money. Oh, that makes sense. That's come up before, though. They got money for targeting innocent people, and then in some cases, it was much easier to falsely accuse innocent people than apparently they thought it was to actually do their jobs, do the work that it requires at their jobs to apprehend real criminals. Sounds like lazy cops to me. How are those donuts treating you? Piggies. Lazy or dirty or both. Hello. Revelation. Yeah, that's the reality check. they made poor choices. Well, there's that. Rebellion. Yeah, they wanted to buck against the system. They wanted to disrespect the laws at their own job. Fertility and multiplicity to get gains and benefits. Also, if they tried to make a mess out of a light worker's life and smear campaign light workers about as being, crazy or something that they weren't, I'm seeing something about some of them got promotions for persecuting light workers instead of just actually apprehending criminals. But in some cases, especially where you have government systems that are connected with dirty people in them, or smaller towns where people think they run the place, then you have situations where, let me pack this bowl, it's already packed. Hold on, I need to take a breath. 2:22 on the clock here on the East Coast. Cheers. Some of them, if it wasn't just easier to try to falsely accuse innocent people and more difficult to actually do the good detective and police work to figure out the crimes and, uncover the issue and do their due diligence at their job, some of these cops were just criminal themselves, and they happened to also have police jobs. And for some, I mean, it's both, but they had family or friends that were criminals, and that's why they did not want to apprehend those people, because they didn't want to have to go arrest their own family members. So instead, they chose to gang up with those people against innocent people they were supposed to protect, that their jobs require them and pay them to protect and serve, yeah, that they took an oath to become police officers to fulfill and then neglected. That's enough to get you fired. I think I'm done with this. I don't like this energy. I'd rather be doing love readings. Okay, so let's grab brighter deck. Those ones were the darker ones. Hard to clear out the energy though. Let's do the fair one. Here we go. Okay, first off, manifestation. Tree wisdom. I mentioned the druids. The druidic energy came out. They came after a high priestess. I was high priestess of the druids a very long time ago. I'm also a master manifester. Tree wisdom. resonates with druidic energy. They were one with the trees. They also believe that trees had spirits. Each tree had a spirit. And you know what? Grandmother Willow in the Pocahontas Disney movie touches on that a little bit, doesn't she? Said to be the spirit of her grandmother. And then also in the movie Avatar, they've got the spirit tree where they attach their hair to either their horses, to bond with their horses, or their partners, or the spirit tree. And it's like a big willow tree, but every tendril of the willow tree is a different ancestor, and it allows them to connect with and download those different ancestral memories or messages, or commune with them by connecting this way. Both of those are very Native American belief systems. There's a reason that typically Native Americans do not cut their hair unless, depending on the tribe and culture, one, they're for ceremonial purposes, and two, this is also a type of ceremonial purpose, is to symbolize their grief. When someone they love dies, they will cut their hair in a sign of mourning. Different tribes differentiate, but the whole thing about natives not cutting their hair, very, very prominent. And then there was also a famous Native American actor recently, within the last 6 months or so. Wasn't he murdered? What was his name? I forget. Please forgive me. But he was found with his hair cut off, and there was great speculation that 4622, his murder, was racially inclined. Yes, sometimes people do things like that regardless, but especially when it's directed towards a native who ceremoniously sees their hair as sacred. That is a direct attack and insult on their culture. That's racism. Divination. So that's why we're here. Okay. Magical gateway, abundance, inspiration. Okay. So I'm getting inspiration and abundance. Even just the way I happened to cross paths, went out to make sure my own stuff was taken care of, and stumbled across people who could also use some help and support, and I was able to give that magical gateway. And I knew that was coming. I knew there would be opportunities for me to light work as well as receive light work, because hello, reciprocity. Just using myself as an example, this is a general. And then the doorways open up. Why? Because of this manifestation, your ability to tune in, right, resonate with deeper energies, even slow down and listen, tap into what matters and what is most important, right, lost and found, including finding the hidden aspects or shadow aspects of yourself. She's spending time not crying over the spilt cup over here, but spending time nurturing and loving on her cat instead. Shine from within, yeah. Okay. So it's about focusing on your inner spark, healing. That's why they've been trying, why they've been trying to dim your light. Temptation. And I think the celebration card in reverse just came out. Is that what was trying? Yeah, it was. See? Celebration. It tried to slip. It was underneath the ask for help card, I think. And so temptation, I mentioned that the other day. Be mindful of substance, drinking, drugging, partying for yourself as well as other environments right now, because there, it may be better to be in your own space than in the company of the wrong people, so that you can align that gateway energy with the right one. I hear that's exactly what it is. Because I found, in fact, a situation yesterday where I helped that person. This is somebody who tried to help, right? They had been getting their life together and stabilizing their home environment and their work and all of this stuff. And they saw somebody else that seemed to be doing that. Now, for 15 days, this person that they saw starting to do that had been clean and sober, like 13 or 15 days, which really isn't that long. It's not long I mean, good, yes, good, great, good on you. But in the grand scheme of things, when you're dealing with people who are still in the throes of those like withdrawal symptoms and stuff, especially when they're toxic mentally and emotionally and they're just not very nice people, those are generally people who are more likely to slip back and choose to be malicious towards people. Okay, so he was trying to support this person and, you know, make sure that they were warm, bought them almost a $200. It was a male and a female karmic couple, it seemed. And then there was uh, a woman that saw that they were seeming to try to do better, or this other girl was, and her boyfriend was with her, as far as I recall. And so she bought this girl, the one who had more structure in their life, bought this girl a almost $200 heating blanket. It's cold up in the state of Maine right now on the East Coast. There's snow on the ground. And this girl had been clean for I think 13 to 15 days, and this lady wanted to support this person and encourage this person, and you know, they knew what it was like to go without, and they didn't want to see that person they suffer. They wanted to see them keep going on in the right track. And so she invited them, this karmic couple, it seems, to her apartment, and they stole her stuff. Like her backpack had her wallet in it and her glasses and iPhone, brand new $1,800 iPhone 15. As well as some other stuff, I'm sure. But just basic survival stuff. This person needs their glasses to see in front of them. They legitimately need their glass. They can't see without their glasses. Blind, disabled, and blind. Blind and autistic to the point of being qualified for disability. They need. I heard that. That's who was stolen from? Yes. So of course God called me to step in and help when I saw that. And you know what? If I hadn't gone in to put my grocery carts back away, I wouldn't have, but I do. I do that. I don't leave them out. 5222. Because I was putting my grocery cart away and I saw other people hadn't, so I collected theirs too to get them out of the way. This person, because they couldn't see, thought I was working there. Just could kind of generally see that I was putting carts away, multiple carts, so assumed that I worked there because her glasses had been stolen. So anyway, that's how that started. And look, Hope, she was, I could see it. Trying to keep hope, but felt it. She opened right up to me. She needed a hug and the tears were streaming down her face. She just needed some support. A reminder that there are good people and that she shouldn't feel bad or stop trying to be a good person just because people around her were shitty. It's just about being more careful about being good to the right people and not letting the wrong ones around you. It's just discernment, that's all. 5322. It's a big core lesson for light workers. It's not the wrong thing to do to help. It's just about developing a stronger level of that intuitive discernment. Yeah, I see, finding balance. So they tried to destabilize her. Healing. So I stepped in to try to shed a little light. What is that? Give a little bit of your love to me. Yeah. Give a little bit. Give a little bit of your love. And I was on a little journey, on an adventure to go do some errands. So those people were sober. They had been apparently for 15 days or so, 2 weeks almost. But they stole all that stuff so that they could go. I mean, that's addict behavior. That's not sober behavior. 5422. So the temptation and the celebration card in reverse came out. They were tempted to rain on other people's parties and parades and blessings and well-being, and they were trying to celebrate. It was a negative, bad thing to do, which is why it was in reverse. They shouldn't have done that, but they were tempted, which is why it came out upright. They had no pure intentions. But guess what? When I pulled this same deck yesterday for this situation, for the person that I helped, this was upright. And so was the mutual feeling connection card. And she asked for help just being pointed in the right direction of something she was looking for because she couldn't see. It was just a fluke chance, but it wasn't. It was it was divine intervention. And here's the thing about, I've said this for years. I know there's an argument about people, this is a double-edged sword. And so I understand the argument from both sides, but just listen. There has been argument from people not wanting to allow trans people to use the bathrooms that are specifically for male or female unless they have those particular genitalia. Like, it doesn't matter whether you resonate as male or female. They wanted people to still use the bathrooms that are assigned to them at their birth based on that gender, their birth gender initially. But also, doesn't that make it much more complex and confusing when you have somebody that has Klinefelter with both female and male chromosomes? A unique? Yeah, precisely, because they have both. So how do you, what? Anyway, it's not in their head, it's genetic. At least in that case. So the argument is to not let, or more specifically, the fear is that straight men will try to dress up as women just so that they can get into women's bathrooms and assault females. And I feel like it's both ways, of course, it's non-gender specific, but especially women. And there was a whole argument about that with banning abortions too. And people say, no, well, women, if they need abortions for medical issues, they can still get those. But the second they started passing those laws to ban abortions, guess what? Women who needed them for medical issues were not able to get them and were having to go out of state to get them, or were they, I think one of them actually died because she wasn't able to get what she needed quickly enough because of this. I don't know exactly what it was, whether it was like a fallopian tube rupture or something, but she needed something and no, because of this invasion of her healthcare rights, women's rights, she died and she left a son behind at no fault of her own. Okay? But on the flip side, I've said this for years. I've met, growing up, a whole bunch of my friends were gay. In fact, when I was in high school or just getting out of high school, I worked at a place called Jekyll and Hyde, and one of my, he'd worked there for 10 years. I don't think he was quite a manager, actually, no. But he was really good on the floor. He should have been a manager. They would have done really well with him as a manager. He should have been higher ranked. But anyway, he worked there for a long time. Really funny, nice gay guy. And he lived in a house with a whole bunch of other gay guys. They rented a house. They all rented rooms in this house. So I would go over there. It was just me and a whole bunch of gay guys. And we'd all come out in the living room and the kitchen and hang out. The patio, the sunroom. There's a kitten named Stoli. One of them was a bartender after Stoli vodka. Little white kitten. But anyway, this being said, some of them did drag and were trans. I have met trans women who I would have no qualms with sharing a bathroom with, and I would much rather share a bathroom with them than these karmic females who actually have vaginas and were born with, or more specifically, were born with vaginas. Thank you. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near them. Not in a locker room or anywhere else. But I've had no qualms about sharing them with genuine trans people. What do you mean? In fact, I like them a lot better. I choose them over the mean karmic females. Every time. I'm a girl's girl, dude. I just don't put up with the mean girl karmic competitive bullshit. That's non-gender specific. I genuinely love humans, but I also don't like that bullshit. Duality, balance, double-edged sword. So on the flip side, there was argument about, well, what if people are raped? You know, they should be able to get access to abortion care if they need. And people said, well, you know, that shouldn't be a problem. If people need A, B, and C, or there are adoption agencies, or, well, first of all, the adoption agencies are overrun. Okay. Did you know that it's harder to place older children? Toddlers are easier to place than older children, statistically speaking, but babies are easier to place than toddlers, and babies are easier to place than both toddlers and older children. And many of them age out of the system before they get adopted, meaning there are more people that need care than there are people ready to give care. So why would you just send more children into an already overrun system that isn't set up properly to support them, that is already failing so many? First of all, are you going to adopt them? People who said that, thought that, think that? No, probably not. So stop. Shut your mouths. You've got no say in the matter. Nor should you. You didn't think about it like that. Precisely why you should have no say in the matter. Because you're selfish. And you do not think about other people or the ripple effect that it will have. Not even just this generation. Imagine down the line. Okay. There was also a, what was it, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old girl who was sexually assaulted by a male family member of hers. I don't know if it was a father, uncle, brother, cousin, but somebody. And she got pregnant, unfortunately. And because of these law bans, they had to take her. They have pills that you can take. It's not even an invasive procedure that the same way. That used to be the only way to have that done. But now, kind of like the morning after pill, they have those to terminate. But she had to go out of the state to get them. Imagine being assaulted by a family member of yours and then having to uproot yourself from your home and go to a different state just to get the health care for it. And for those who think, well, she should have just had the child. She is a child. How dare you? 6322. And then for those who think, well, what about the baby? Okay. Well, don't you think that strapping a mother who is being forced to carry a child that for whatever reason, whether it be assault or it doesn't matter, whatever it is, she's not comfortable carrying, she doesn't want, don't you think tying her up to a hospital bed and forcing her to deliver a child and forcing people to get all up in her grill and her private areas to deliver a child, stitch her up, right, like all of that stuff, that's sexual assault. That is medical sexual assault. What about the mother? I understand your argument, but you're abusing women. Stay out of our vaginas. Now, let me be very clear. I am a mother because I chose to keep my baby. I do not choose abortion for myself, but absolutely pro-choice. Leave people alone. Their bodies are not your business. And let me tell you another thing. You can look this up. There is a man over the last number of years, there's been a man in charge of some government aspect and arena where he goes and he passes laws, okay, especially on stuff like this. And there was a secretary or somebody that worked in his office, like, eat your words, just came out. And she was on her cycle for the month. And she had to excuse herself from the meeting because she was bleeding and she felt like she was getting ready to bleed through her clothing. So she had to quickly excuse herself to the restroom. And her male boss, this older gentleman who has a wife and children, mind you, who's in some form of government office that passes laws and legislature on things like this, okay? He didn't want her to go to the bathroom, threw a stink about it, asked her why she needed to go, and she said, well, sir, I mean, it was degrading, I'm sure. He made her explain that she was on her period and that if she didn't go to the bathroom, she was going to bleed on her chair through her clothes. And he complained because he genuinely thought that tampons were sex toys and she was just going to the bathroom to play with herself. He genuinely had no idea. He's got a wife and kids, but he has no idea about female anatomy, and he thinks he's qualified to sit on a government board and pass laws about the shit. Nope. This is who we have making the laws in America. Now you wonder why things are a little twisted? Okay. Easy does it. I didn't know that. Yeah, it's a little backwards. A little backwards, head over heels, ass backwards. Which is what my grandmother said she came out of the womb like. Came out ass backward, and I came out, what is it, feet first, and I've been doing everything ass backwards ever since, she'd say. So funny. Broken open. Okay, so it's about opening your heart. The wound is where the light enters. Also, do you see the cracks in this? This is kintsugi. It's beautiful Japanese pottery. Ah, see? I love people. I genuinely love people, but I'm just not for the bullshit. Not my circus, not my monkeys. So Japanese pottery, kintsugi, they'll take a beautiful they will take a beautiful bowl like this one that has been thrown on a potter's wheel. And they'll shatter it on purpose. And then like a puzzle, they'll take every piece that was broken and they'll take liquid gold and they'll paint each piece and glue them back together. So when the bowl is back together, you can see where the cracks were, that there's a little gold that squishes through the seams. Hello, beautiful. How are you? I got your email or your, I checked my accounts and I got your thingy from the other day. Thank you very much. And I'm sending, speaking of Midas touch, sending love. I'm very proud of everybody. But teamwork makes the dream work. We've got this. So the wound is where the light enters. The reason that this is so beautiful, this pottery, is because every piece is different. And honestly, I think that when you can see the gold cracks in the pottery, it looks more beautiful than it did before it was shattered and put back together. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Very, very grateful for that. Against the clock. So these people seem to be trying to slow others down okay? Also, I smell alcohol. Also, they're running out of time now. Their gig is up. Life of the party's in reverse, and the people who thought that they could remember celebration was in reverse too, and they thought that they were going to celebrate, but also now they're in trouble because, like I said, as soon as this person from yesterday gives me a shout, I can help them track that iPhone, no matter whether these people have tried to wipe the system or not. It's a new enough model where that doesn't matter, meaning that I can give their exact location to the police so this person can get their phone back, their almost $2,000 brand new iPhone 15, and that they just got. Yeah, see, all they've got to do is reach out. I hear house party. It's divine masculine coming through. I'm golden. You know what? I have 2 songs to play. Gold and golden. I'll play those in a minute. And to replace the glasses, that's $600. It's just a lot. It was a lot. So that was almost $2,500 just right off the cuff that they took. I don't know what was in the wallet, but just based on the phone and the glasses, that's not okay. Oh, and then when they got called out for stealing, they called the police on her and tried to say there was a drama and got her, it was the Darvo tactic, got her kicked out of her apartment, even though they're the ones who came in there and stole from her. So it just wasn't very nice. Golden, Midas touch. We're healing now. And I wasn't anything I could do at that moment, but if that person calls me, I can help. Forever young. Master of destiny. Yeah, see, this is why I said I don't look like everything I've been through. I hear it's love. God's love keeps me young. Yeah, also kicking karmic behind. You see that skull? And you see the, look, I have it right here. Hold on, let me clean this because it's very dirty from all the sage in the Palo Santo and very hard to see right now. And it's time we give her a little love. Speaking of, somebody says, what are you cleaning with, rubbing alcohol? It's the best thing to get like resin and oil and sticky stuff off of surfaces with, in case you didn't know that. Pro tip from a head housekeeper, retired head housekeeper. Also, I learned that this person that I helped yesterday has been currently doing some of that type of work in the establishment based on what they can do or what they had been doing. And so I understand that too. It's giving Cinderella, jealous, evil step siblings. And if it's not step siblings, it's just people behaving like that. They were jealous, and that's why they were mean. They tried to sabotage her blessings, cause her to miss opportunities because they wanted them for themselves. That's very sad because they did both. And I've seen it. It's a pattern. I see it in other people's stories, but I actually talked to my doctor about that the other day, about that's how it felt when people treated me like that. But guess what? Cinderella always gets the prince and the castle in the end, doesn't she? And Snow White's story started out with her crying on the ground after the evil stepmother tried to kill her. Jealous stepmother. Who's the fairest of them all? Not you! Here we go. This is an ammonite. Oh, seashell. It's a twin flame symbol. It symbolizes the infinity. It also symbolizes a cycle of karma, okay? So you start at the beginning. You think you know what it is, and then it cycles back around again. You get to the same point out here, and you realize there's a deeper layer to that lesson, and then you spiral around and you learn another layer of that lesson, and you just grow. It's evolution. Whoa, what did I say? Hit your target. And they really wanted to target people. They did. They absolutely did. Now that that's clean, I would say that if that's how you feel, then listen to your intuition. And I only say that because that's the energy I've been picking up this week as a general channel. I know that I've picked that up for other people, and I know that I've also picked up other people trying to direct that towards me. In some cases, they were trying to do, I heard shut ups. Did you hear my stomach just say, hey girl, remember to feed me? Okay. Shut up spells, and also like suicide or depression spells, especially around the holidays. They thought it would cause people to take themselves out. Also, they thought that that would be a good way to get away with their crimes against others. Like if they bully people to death, then they think, or they bully people to the point where they think they can call them insane, and they think people won't believe that they could be behind it. They think that people will just think, oh, that light worker is just crazy, or they were just depressed, and they won't look at who pushed them over that edge. Uh-huh. Look. I heard that. There's a karmic male. He's directing this towards me, but obviously it's not just me. This is a general, so use me as an example here. But I just heard a karmic male directed towards me, and he said, well, we bullied your husband to death, and we're still out here bullying you, and we haven't gotten in trouble for it. So if I bully you and I kill you, then, you think, no, bitch, God sent me as karma. See, I know now what Delray did not, and I know now what I did not when Delray died, but I know that you're toast. Yeah, fishbowl, they're stuck. They're so stuck now. They're stuck. They're trapped in the fishbowl. I think I posted a Mami Wata Tarot video this morning, didn't I? I may have. If I didn't post it, I saw it come up. And she said something in this that I heard clairaudiently yesterday. I got a vision of it. I almost made a post about it. And I saw, she said something about falling on their own swords, I think. And I heard something yesterday about these karmics dying on their own swords. It's kind of like they fall into the hole the grave that they tried to dig for others. And if it wasn't that I heard that they're going to die on, I think that's what it was though. If I didn't hear that they were going to die on the swords that they tried to point at others, then it was that they were going to fall on them. Whatever she picked up, I forget which one was which now because they were so close. I picked up the opposite. But I'm telling you that that's accurate because I heard it yesterday. Slightly different. She either said falling, I think she said falling, and I heard dying. They're going to die on the sword that they kind of like, you'll die on the horse you stole and rode it on. Yeah. Road less traveled. I know I've been talking about blades and swords the last couple of days. I'm not sure if I actually mentioned that specific, they'll die on those swords, but yeah, see, depression in my blue in reverse. They wanted people to be sad, commune with nature in reverse. They didn't want people to see I've been getting outside and taking walks, and a plane crash happened, and I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm always condolence. I don't like being right about that stuff. It is what it is, so I know to call it when I pick it up, and it's there, but it's sad. It's super sad. And I always, when I pick this stuff up, I always call for divine intervention where it can be. If something can be prevented, I really would rather be, I don't want to be right about those things. I'm grateful for the gift. It's accurate and I honor it. But if people's lives can be saved, I would much rather do that than just prophesize their death and let it go. Sometimes there's nothing that can be done. Sometimes things are fated. Sometimes it's just people's time or whatever the case may be. Sometimes it's their karma, and I'm not to get in the way of that, which is why I call for divine intervention, so I don't interrupt people's karma, because it's like the flu. You can't take their karma away, but you can catch it for getting into stepping in some stuff you shouldn't. You can get bad karma for helping people you shouldn't. You can get bad karma for not helping people that you should. It's about discernment. But have you noticed that too? I picked this up, the cruise ship deaths on the 21st, and then I mentioned the plane crash deaths again, and all of a sudden, again, it's not even just, like, sometimes plane crashes happen, sometimes accidents on cruise ships happen, but there's been a huge uptick in them lately. Like, it's constant over the last couple of weeks. That's not normal. No strings attached. I'm telling you, what goes around. Sometimes it's people's karma. Sometimes it's their time, but I think a lot of people are in dark spaces too. I think the devil's been after people, and it couldn't get me, but when it can't get to you, then it tries to get the people around you to turn on you, and those are the weak links. And if it can't get them to do that, then it tries to attack them too, if not to break them down into finally submitting, then into taking them out with you. But that's why it's important for light workers to ally together. The light is much more powerful than the shadows. You know what happens to a shadow when the light turns on? It dies. Look. A karmic says, no, lights are how shadows are casted. No, blockages between the light are how shadows are casted. Look. Tell me about the shadow of the lighter. It moves when the lighter moves, right? Tell me about the shadow of the lighter now. It's dead. And that's the comparison between karmics and light workers, and why they seek to keep us separated, and why they target. The light doesn't cast a shadow. Something standing in between the light does. The light destroys the shadow. See, when light workers work together, looks like Tut or Amun-Ra, these karmics have nothing. Funny how it takes a group of karmics to target one light worker. So now you see why they're so spooked about even just two light workers coming together. If they had such a hard time as a gaggle and a group and a band of hooligans coming after one light worker, how hard do you think it will be to come after two working together, especially if they're twin flames? That means there's two of the same person's energy. That's even more powerful. That's why you can like quantum leap even greater when two twins are working on the same projects and stuff. They're on the same page. Not even projects as in like physical projects, art projects, work projects, just in life, just making sure the daily routine, flow, elevation, etc. Just everything. Yeah, see? What goes around comes around, and they're catching their karma now. And Dharma's coming around for the rest, but not my circus, not my monkeys. Carousels usually are for children also. Children were held hostage. That's stopping. Look, I just split the deck again right in the center. They're done. Okay. Somebody says thank you. You're very welcome. I don't know what I need. I feel like this channel, it's not closing. Hold on. Since I don't know what to do quite yet, we're going to get some more water, pack another roll. I'm not feeling quite yet to do energy therapy. I don't know if I need any more cards. I think I do. And it's also not time to go. There's something else. Hold on. Aren't you supposed to be psychic? I don't know everything. I don't want to know everything. Do you know how? Can you keep track of everything in your day? Imagine knowing everything of everybody's all the time. How exhausting would that be? I don't want to know your bullshit. Thanks. But I'm speaking to karmics, by the way. But no. Which is why I said the channel's not closed. Obviously, there are more messages that need to come out, but I've not been given them yet. So what I'm going to do is take a second to pause and listen and self-care. And when I get the guidance, we'll move from there. They're saying no Reiki yet. They're saying, no, it's not time to go, but I don't know what else I need to do. I need to wait for the messages. Patience. That card came out too, didn't it? Patience. They have none. It's one of the first virtues, you know. Of course, they can't master spiritual pre-K. They can't even get that. Something to understand is the concept of principalities also. I'm hearing somebody needs to know. Thank God we don't. I think it would be a lot. He'll argue in his head about you without your presence. Yeah. I'm sending so much love. I see that. I'm disappointed with my fallen twin, you said. So easy to manipulate, and he didn't even clear the accusations with me. No, I dealt with that too. They listened to gossip from others and then got mad about the gossip, even though it was just fabrication. Didn't even check with me to see if it was true. And because they believed it and got mad at me, then they added some of their own bullshit in too. Yep. So good. I heard that. What is it? Just water, but it's so good. Cheers. I heard that. It's just water. I don't trust you, Karmic. I don't trust people who think all water tastes the same. I don't trust your judging character or taste. Thank you. I don't trust your judgment. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me shit. I'm teachable, but you're incorrect. Goodness. I will be doing some Reiki. I'm just not sure when. If not towards the end of this reading, then definitely on the next one, the next live. But oh, okay. Thank you. I love you. Good. I just heard Y spell. WYSPELL. I think that's a tarot deck. I don't have that one. Y spell. I've got 400 something others, but I don't think I have. Yeah. I believe it's a tarot oracle card, or maybe it's the artist. I don't know. But that's the only Y spell. I think that's what they're talking. I hear yes, it is. All right. Didn't you say something about the hero or the heroine? Depends. Some of them are, some of them are not. It depends on the brand. It depends on the artist. It depends on whether it's somebody who's published or self-published. It depends if it's a smaller creator and artist, like a small independent seller, it costs more for them to put out decks unless you get them ordered in a big bulk order, which is really expensive. Most smaller deck creators can't afford to get a huge batch of them published because it's just too much per deck. So they opt for a smaller quantity of them, but if you do the smaller quantity, you pay more per deck. If you get more decks, they will often give you a discount, so you're spending more, but you're paying less per deck, meaning that you can sell them and make more money. But you have to have enough of a startup to do that, and a lot of them don't. So they will either go through a company that they'll put their designs on a company platform, like the smaller creators. There are some companies where you can put your designs in, and if somebody buys that deck, they'll print it, a copy for that person, and mail it out and stuff, and they'll give the person who's designed the deck a cut of it, but they don't get as much, and the decks are more expensive because of all of this. And then you have the ones who they buy a handful of, they design the decks and they buy a handful of them and have a handful of them printed, but they don't have the money to buy a big quantity of them. So let's say that they have 200, I don't know, I'm just going to pick random numbers for simplicity. Thank you for that. The Y spell is a tarot. Yeah, I think that's what they're talking about. Let's say that it costs them $100 to get 10 decks, okay? But if they get 20 decks, they only have to pay $75. They get a 25% discount, right? $93.22. But let's say they don't have the money to get 20 decks. They only have the money to get 10 decks. So they're still going to be paying more per deck. It's just more, it's expensive to do. Depends on the person and the situation, but that's why. I've seen some decks range anywhere from $60 to $100 roughly, maybe 120, give or take. Those are independent artists, they're custom designs, and frankly, I have a few of them. So are they worth it? Is it, or do I find it worth it to support good independent artistry? Absolutely. In fact, let me tell you 2 candy companies. I tend to avoid sugar. for health, just well-being purposes. But there are, there's this company called Sanders Chocolate, and they make these small batches of artisan chocolates. It's really good chocolate, and they're really famous for their caramels, and they do dark chocolate and milk chocolate and different kinds. But I heard that somebody's like, well, why would you? I hear investments. And also, you know, those particular, one of the decks that's more costly, it's one of the ones that I use most. It's one of my evil eye decks that I use constantly. In fact, it was pricier, but guess what? It was worth the investment, wasn't it? How many times has that helped us here? A lot. It was a one-time investment, and it has long since paid itself off. No, do I always jump for those types and those quantities? And no. I have some that are like a few dollars, $6 or something. Under 10. Plenty that are under 10. On average, a lot of them are 15 to 20, 25, depending. Sometimes 30, depending. But again, a lot of these are really good artists, or they're gifted. I support people who are called to. So anyway. I hear, how many times has that particular deck nabbed criminals? Calling them out from things like stalking, gang stalking, hacking, illegal police work, trying to set people up and have people falsely arrested, trying to trigger you and mess with your day, and like the harassment tactics. And how many times has that, you know? I heard Divine Masculine says 0 argument. Exactly. Yeah. White Sage. Madonna of Roses. Isn't my title bar a rose? You know why? Because I've been picking up Empress Josephine energy again. On your own terms, exactly. She waited a really long time to be loved until one day she decided to save. Oh no, she waited a really long time to be saved until one day she decided to save herself, and it was a very good day. You know what? That's exactly what I said about yesterday. It was a very good day. White Sage. Madonna of Roses. 9822. Mermaid Soul. I also posted about a mermaid in the community board. There's a crown and a wave, and oh, it's Oceans by Hillsong United. That's what I posted. You know what I've also been hearing? It's what's her name? Natalie something. Surrender. And there's also an emphasis of healing the inner child wounds, as well as for those who are parents, especially those who have had their children isolated or alienated from them, or they've been isolated from their kids unjustly. I'm not talking about people who are disgruntled because they were not nice to people and people had to get away from them to keep themselves safe. I mean the people who were projected on with those things, like victims who walked away from abuse only to be slandered by the abuser, and then in some cases for those same abusers to come and kidnap the kids and then try to flip the script on the victim and claim that the victim was the problem the whole time. Because we've seen that repeatedly. What did I just say? Daughter of the Sacred Heart. Every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. Priority of purpose. Love is everything. What did I say? It was all about yesterday. It was just light working. I was doing errands, but I ended up light working. And you know what I find pretty funny? One of the people who on levels has been my biggest doubter, one of my biggest doubters, was sitting right next to me and watched the whole thing. 2 hearts, 1 soul, sisterhood. Yeah, see? And they saw me, this doubter saw me connect with someone, a stranger. Like, I don't connect with them because they sit there too busy being a doubter and an naysayer to connect. But when I started to empty my wallet, they reached for theirs, trying to follow in my footsteps. Earth goddess, who you are, exactly. Love who you are. And it was a good day, and I'm not mad, and I'm not throwing shade. It was good. Everything was good. But I do remember, you know, and it's like, if you're willing to do that to me once, Shaman of Skulls. I remember. Fearless. But I still stand up and I do the right thing. When darkness surrounds you, be the light. You shine your weird little light, so all your other weirdos know how to find you. Also, you can illuminate the rocks for them so they don't crash upon the shore. Also, what was that other thing? I heard turn your face towards the sun and let the shadow fall behind you. Hold on. There's another message. I almost said it earlier, but I didn't. But now that that's come out. See if I can find it. There it is. She waited a really long time to be saved until one day she decided to save herself, and it was a very good day. In other words, I got tired of waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel, so I lit that bitch up myself. I heard that. Goddess. She's a goddess. If you're good at lying, if you're very good at lying, that's the only thing you're good at. Perhaps that's why light working irritates karmics, because they're pretending and lying. It's exactly why. Like, they have to put a mask on to pretend like they're good people in society when they're not, or to try. And even when they're not copying us, they still have to wear that mask. They never get a break. And when they do, it's when the mask slips and they're nasty to people, and then they get consequences for it and people don't like them. So, you know, that must be a miserable life. And that's why their misery desperately wants company. 10422. It reminds me of something another viewer said the other day, and she was quoting he, she, please forgive me, non-gender specific. If I ever accidentally misgender somebody, please feel free to lovingly correct me, because I would like to fix that. And no. Deep love, gratitude, and apologies. Never intention of any offense. I'm so sorry in advance. And thank you for the help and chance to course correct. Bless you. But nonetheless, also, side note, I know some people get very upset if they're misgendered. Some people have made whole like social media accounts intentionally trying to be misgendered for attention, unfortunately. But a lot of people, myself included, have been raised, if not directly, then at least with the awareness that many people are raised to call people ma'am or sir out of full out politeness. Now, unfortunately, there are people, I've seen this too. There are people like very, I'm getting a flash of MAGA, Trump supporting, very bigoted people, okay? Generally speaking, who will know what conservative I'm picking up on a lot of levels too. Seeing certain political people on YouTube, yuck. These are ones who buy advertisements and try to force and blow their sponsorships into people's faces. Nonetheless, they will specifically misgender people, knowing what people would prefer to be called, not because it's a slip of the mind or a slip of the tongue, or they just forget, or they're not used to asking what people's genders are, knowing what people would like to be called regarding their pronouns, but choosing to call them by whatever it is that they were born as, because they know it will offend them. And it's an intentional attack. It is an attempt to trigger. Some people it's not. They're genuinely just trying to be polite. It's a lifetime of forced habit and nature. And those of us who understand always try and will continue to, but it's very sad when you do have people that are just trying to be mean. Whether it's because they don't understand or they just don't care, it's their problem. And then they doubt us like no one is that good. Wrong questions. And this is the thing. It's that projection. They assume that everybody has the potential to be as nasty as they are because that's how they think. That's who they are. That's how their brain works. That's how their perception and their vision works. And they are not really genuinely good people. So they have a hard time on levels in some cases assuming or knowing that people are genuinely good. And plenty of them know very well that people are good. And those are the types of people, unfortunately, that narcissists are prone to targeting. They look for givers, they look for empaths, people who will be so generous because they're so selfish as takers that they want somebody generous so they can keep taking from us. And then somebody who's so forgiving and patient and lenient that will keep giving them chances. Right? Will see that obviously when the mask slips, they're in a state of low energy. Maybe they need healing, maybe they need, just some time to learn and understand, and we try to give them the same grace that we would want in a situation, and with a chance to grow and learn and understand and not be ridiculed and judged or berated for not understanding something or needing information and understanding in order to adjust. But they're just looking to manipulate people. They see that they lack empathy, narcissists, to varying degrees and levels. And so they can't understand ours. They cannot understand where we come from on that level. because they don't have the same capabilities. And there's a reason for that. They're called mirror neurons, mirror, like a shiny mirror, or a looking glass. People, the reason that if you see somebody that's sad, you feel for them, you want to help them as an empath, is because your brain is mirroring their neurons. You're able to feel what they're feeling because your brain's picking up on what their brain's going through. It's called a mirror neuron. They're really cool, but narcissists don't have those. So they think you're weird because you feel all these empathetic feelings that I don't feel, or I don't feel to the degree that you do. But they don't understand that their brains are shut down, or just not functional at all. They don't have the centers of the brain, if at all, then active, that we do, which is why they can't understand what we understand. They're coming from the reptilian brain aspect on that note, and we come from a higher level of elevation. There's this theory of evolution where the earliest creatures and people had these very base reptilian brains, right? Eat, sleep, protect yourself to survive, or run away to survive from danger. But then we started evolving into more adapted humans with social integration and, discoveries, and even just Stone Age technologies. Those were advancements still. And so the concept of this evolution is that the brain, which started out as an actually smaller organ, started growing and developing these new parts. The same way that over time, humans, like I was only born with one wisdom tooth. I only ever had one wisdom tooth come in. One of the doctors that I have was never born with any wisdom teeth. And some people are born with all of them. The people whose bodies and genetic coding, or I feel like it has to do with spirit as well, have been aligned to the point where we don't use our wisdom teeth anymore like we did, because we don't need them for tearing apart meat the way that we did. We use forks and knives, and we're more adept than earlier creatures. And so the body's phasing them out. And there were a few more organs as well that we don't use anymore, or don't need. I think there was one of them that the body stopped really using it, or didn't really need it, but it was still being produced, because it was kind of that halfway point between not needing it and then fully being phased out. It was like a transitional period. The body kind of gets used to not needing it so much anymore for some reason, and then eventually the body can stop growing those pieces. And it takes sometimes hundreds or thousands of years, of course, usually thousands of years. It takes many, many generations for this to happen, but it can happen. And so the same thing happened with the brains. They went from these very small, just survival-based reptilian brains to ones that had a fuller band of things, and then what we see today in brains, which is a whole prefrontal cortex, and perceptively a more fully developed brain, although I'm sure there could be room for improvement, divinely speaking, but nonetheless, quite an interesting topic, huh? Divine Masculine says she's so smart. I hear her sounding so smart, like you graduated college, like you went to Yale, but you probably went to Harvard, knowing you. Change the lyrics. He says, no, not Howard. You're too smart for Howard. I said Harvard. Funny. My grandmother used to tell me that I should be a singer. I'm working late because I'm a singer. Oh, goodness. Which post? A community post? Which one? Oh, the Harvard one. No, that one was actually genuinely asking me. No, that wasn't an attack. That was a compliment. That was a stranger with a genuine question. I was in a video. There was a live feed. Somebody else had a live feed up, and I was just scrolling through YouTube to find some music, and it popped up. And I know this person just from YouTube. I've interacted here and there, and when I see people bullying them, I speak up about it. And I tend to, if it pops up, or if I see a video come up, I'm sometimes called to leave a little love. Sometimes it's just to let the bullies know that people are there to support, and sometimes they think twice about doing that. So anyway, I do go through to support. No, don't apologize. I just wanted to make sure I knew we were on the same page before I assumed. But I was calling out bullies. And the person who left the comment asking me the question, "You sound so smart. Did you go to Harvard?" They were not bullying. It was just another person watching. They were genuinely, they were watching me call out bullies with, I guess, seemingly quite intellectual words, at least for them. And they asked me if I went to Harvard, because I guess they're just not used to that. But I thought it was hilarious, because the Divine Masculine had been coming through for the last couple of days, actually saying that clairaudiently. I've been channeling that here for the last couple of days. But then that person asked me the question in the, in the comment section after he noticed me call out a bully with my smart mouth. I thought it was quite funny. Just aptly timed. So there's no way you could possibly make that up. It just happened to be there synchronistically for a minute, scrolling through. But he said what DM has been saying. I wouldn't surprise me if he picked it up on that channel too without realizing it. I hear yes he did. That's so funny. You know why? Because it was another reader. I saw another reader being bullied and I didn't like that. So I told the bullies to stop. Somebody thought it was smart. No, I bet you're picking up on that karmic energy, because they've been awfully mad about it. They've been trying to call me, locals here have been trying to tell people I'm crazy and incompetent. But, you know, I have strangers asking me if I go to Harvard. Have you ever heard that there's a fine line between genius and insanity? I'm not crazy. And frankly, even that, take Galileo, for example, sometimes crazy is just being right too early. So there's that. I hear Perfect Strangers by J.P. Cooper. Oh, I love that one. Whoa, I just got chills, full body chills. What would I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me in as you're kicking me out. Got my head spinning, no kidding, can't pin you down. What's going on in that beautiful mind? I'm on your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy, don't know what hit me. I'll be alright. My head's head's underwater. Can you crank the pitch up and also block out that secondary message? I don't need the distraction. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind. Right, there it is. Creep by Nirvana. Yeah, is that Nirvana? No. I'm a creep. Isn't that Nirvana? It's a rock song, right? I think I know what you're talking about. Who is that? Radiohead. I was like, no, it's not Nirvana. I think you're right. I think that is Radiohead. I that was on the tip of my tongue and I couldn't quite remember. Well, Nirvana came to my mind first. You know, I hear Nirvana by Sam Smith now. 'Cause you take me to Nirvana. I don't think that this could last, but you're here in my arms. Oh baby, I don't want this to change. If it were the real you and me. Now the room is so hazy, we got lost in our fumes. It's too late to run away from it all. It's too late to run away from it all. Oh, sweet dreams, love. Take good care of yourself. Thank you so much for being here and for everything. Get some good rest. And I'm tired of running, so I give in to you. This moment has caused a reaction. Sweet dreams, love. Thank you. Hugs and gratitude. Good night. Make sure to call for prayers in your sleep. Before you sleep. 'Cause you take me to Nirvana. I don't think that this could last, but you're here in my arms. I think I'm being called to drop the mic there. That channel just closed, finally. Please remember to pray. Do no harm, take no crap, and I will catch you on